Hi everyone, welcome to our special holiday episode. Since the holidays are coming up, we're very close to Christmas. I think like 20 days from now. We decided to do a special episode just focused on what the games for you to get this holiday season. So we're gonna give you our picks if you're whether looking for games for yourself or games to give to another person. We're gonna give you a few of our picks that you can give to someone that is into shooters or is into sports games or even just into family type games. Today I'm joined again by Matt, and Vincent is also joining us. You guys can know.
Hello.
So let's start off with Matt because I think he has some really interesting choices. So and he's more based on PC gaming. Vincent is going to be more based on Nintendo, but he's also going to give titles for um, other consoles. And I kind of focused more on third party games, but I also have a few exclusive picks. But yeah, Matt, why won't you start us off?
All right. Well, my first pick is going to be a very PC centric thing, I guess, an MMO. The Elder Scrolls Online
Oh,
is
nice.
on sale right now
I thought you were
for
gonna say Elder Scrolls
$10,
Skyrim. I was
and
like,
that
okay.
is such an sorry.
I thought you were gonna say Skyrim. I was like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, I mean Skyrim's always on sale, but no, the Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls Online is such an underrated MMO, and it had a really like virtually every single MMO. It had a really horrible launch, but now, years later, just like most MMOs, they fixed everything up. It's got several expansions, which you can get if you're interested in the base game. But right now, for $10, that game is such a steal. It does something so cool that I wish more MMOs would do, which is once you do a quest, the world around you changes and you switch to a different phase. So
That's
the
cool.
phase that you're in has like a town that's been ransacked, right? But for other players who are just starting, that town is still there. And then if they choose a different thing or choose a different option, that town might be saved. And then in their phase, they can go through the town and see that they saved it. Stuff like that is really, really fun. So yeah, $10 on Steam on sale. I would highly recommend it. My next pick is going to be another game that's on sale. Very different. It's more of a tactical shooter. It is a Rainbow Six Siege. That's on sale for, and keep in mind these are Canadian prices because oh Canada.
Yeah.
But this is $13 Canadian and 19 cents, which for the states people will be even cheaper than that. And I have not personally played it, but I've seen lots of gameplay, and it has basically been praised to high heaven for how much of like a well-oiled machine it is at this point. And if you're even remotely into that sort of like strategy and tactical shooter, it's not going to be like Call of Duty where you're like running and gunning, but like the different strategies I've seen implemented in this game, like you can shoot through walls, you can send drones underneath doors to check out your enemies, you can set up traps, you can reinforce walls, you can reinforce doors. It's like really, really tense, like 5v5. It, I I would again, if you're even remotely interested in tactical shooters, you owe it to yourself to check this out. Or if you know someone as for a gift, this would be perfect. Uh,
It's in all consoles right now, so it's literally all consoles. Okay, except Switch, but other than Switch, it's on Xbox Series X as well, PS4,
Sorry,
PS5,
Nintendo.
and PC.
Right.
Not yet. I'm assuming they're gonna port it over.
Mhm.
It's gonna happen, but it hasn't happened yet. But it's gonna probably happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on every platform.
What about mobile?
And
Yeah, sorry, and on mobile, I
it's
guess.
not on mobile. Sorry. Um,
Right.
on continuing on with the like sort of PC theme, I went with Baldur's Gate 3. Now, this
Ooh.
game is in early access, and it is not on sale. However,
I've heard of it.
if you get it in early access, you don't obviously then have to pay for the game when it comes out. And I think just in terms of like like the hardcore PC RPG sort of genre, this is kind of like a love letter to it. It's turn-based, which is not my style, but even so, the emphasis on like story RPG mechanics is really incredibly fleshed out. And also, if you're a fan of D&D, it incorporates a lot of that into the game. Like you like roll a dice in the game to see how effective your actions are, which is oddly charming as someone who's never really been into D&D. I thought that would be really frustrating, but it actually adds this incredible layer of like no matter what enemy you're facing, there's a chance that you could lose. And like sometimes you do lose, and it instead of other games where it's like, okay, you died, or like now you gotta restart the mission because you didn't do the objective. The game is instead like, no, you're in this awful situation now. Try to get yourself out of it. And it's really that's I think when the game shines the most. But yeah, early access, to keep in mind, lots of bugs,
Jesus.
but like Pedro has. But if you're into that sort of like again a hard not hardcore but like that call back to like old school RPG for the PC, I think this is a definite must for you or your friends and family. Um, and then going into another early access game, or a game that
Wow.
was early access that is now fully out, is Hades. It's this
Yeah, it's fully
indie
out. Yeah.
dungeon crawler that is heavily like story driven, and honestly, I it's getting the more I play it, the more it's my pick for game of the year. Like it is so well done. It's a game that is made by a studio in its prime. Like this is the same studio that made games like Journey and Abzu. And if you know those games, you know what kind of game they're going for. And I just realized I messed up. That is not the studio that made it.
No,
I'm talking about the
that's not.
game.
Moment.
No, no, no.
You're talking about the other
The
game,
studio. Yeah,
Pathetic.
the studio that made no, the studio that made
Bastion.
Bastion and
Yeah, Bastion.
Transistor.
Sorry, and Transistor.
Well, yeah, you can totally edit that out and make me look good, right? Yeah.
No, I'm keeping it.
No.
It is an uncut,
Anyways,
unedited video. You're done. You're done.
anyways, the same studio that made Bastion and Transistor. So this studio has, you can tell they've taken elements from that and just amplified it. And the story, the performances, the replayability, the gameplay is so smooth and varied, and it is so unique in how it uses death as a mechanic,
Yeah.
not just for the gameplay but for the story. And yeah, it's cheap even as it is on an indie game, but right now it's on sale. So please, like, check that out. And one I just have to mention, just because the value is so insanely good. Yeah, if you're into FPSs, if you're into sci-fi at all, check out the Master Chief Collection on
Oh my
Steam.
goodness.
It is it's such an insane value.
How much is it right now?
And not only that, it is. I'm super prepared.
Very
It is
professional.
$50 Canadian.
15
It is $50
or
Canadian.
50 or
No,
15?
50.
So that's like
Five
$40
zero.
America probably.
It's for
Yeah.
that's $40.
For the Halo Reach, Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and Halo 4. That is such an insane deal, especially even if you remotely like Halo, or if you've never checked out Halo. This is the perfect, I think, start that you could do. So yeah, those are all available on Steam. So those are my PC
Our
games.
PC gamer talked. All right.
And I know Halo isn't traditional, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about my picks now. So my picks revolve around mostly third-party games. I do have um, a few exclusives mentioned, but I went for mostly third-party games. One that I'm not going to talk too much about, but I want to mention is Planet Coaster. It's available now for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and it's a really cool game. It's basically a theme park simulator game where you build your own theme park, your own roller coasters, other types of attractions, and it's really really fun. It's one of the best games I have played on PC because I'm kind of biased because I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. I grew up playing the trilogy, and this is actually from the same team. It was fired from Atari, and then they made their own thing over at Frontier, and it is an awesome game. I can't recommend it enough. It is a game that's going to consume you a lot of time, but it's going to be worth it because building your own theme park is one of the most rewarding experiences I had while playing games. Either hard games and tycoon games are like the most rewarding games out there in my opinion, but yeah, it's available if you're into playing tycoon games on console. You can try these out. You can try this out. Yeah, my first pick is Overcooked All You Can Eat, which is mostly a family game. This is a really fun game. So basically, the game revolves around running a kitchen. That's all you do with your friends or family, whatever. And it seems really easy, but it can get really chaotic really fast. And that's the fun part. And when things start getting really tough and start getting really messy, and you see your friends stressing out because you're trying to get these dishes out because you don't want to lose points, and then you start burning the kitchen because no one's watching a certain part workstation, and it's just a mess, but it's a really fun mess. I play with my friends, and I remember we started playing like at 9. We ended up playing at 3 a.m. because we had so much fun. This pack includes all content that came out surrounding Overcooked. So that's Overcooked 1 and 2 and the entireties of the DLCs. And I think a new DLC, apparently. There's a new DLC. And it's pretty cool. This is out for the PS5, Xbox. Oh, sorry, I didn't say the price. It's $49.99, I'm pretty sure, for the next gen consoles. But if you're on the PS4, Xbox, or Switch, I think it's cheaper, but you don't have all the DLCs, I think. So, pick your poison, I guess. My next pick is actually a sports game because sports games can be good sometimes. It's Captain Tsubasa Rise of the New Champions, which is also available on PC, PS4, and Switch. And on Amazon, I checked on Amazon, it's $39, and on the Switch, so for the PS4, sorry, and on the Switch is $48. So Nintendo always doing their trademark thing. This is actually a really fun game. It combines football with anime, which is awesome. It's a great combination. It has a story mode, which is also really cool. It's not super fleshed out,
Oh,
but it is something really fun, and it's not long as well. But it's gonna take a couple of hours, and those hours are gonna be entertaining because
What's
the
the
story.
story?
It's basically the anime story. It's basically about Oliver, which is the. I say Oliver because I watched it in Portuguese, and
Hmm.
the Portuguese the name of the character was Oliver, but I'm pretty sure his actual Japanese name isn't Oliver. But I say Oliver because it was the dubbing. It's basically about his road to becoming one of the best football players in the world and competing actually for the Japanese international team for like World Cup and everything. And it is, I swear to God, it's really fun. You have like super attacks on a football game, which sounds weird, but it's really cool. And I recommend it because honestly, I used to play football games. I used to buy FIFA every year. I stopped doing that around FIFA 16, and I was kind of craving a sports game, and I found this, and I'm really enjoying it. I have it for the Switch, and I really like it. So I thought I would mention it because it is pretty good.
so
Um,
real quick,
yeah.
what's the game called again?
Captain Tsubasa: Rise of the New Champions. It's on PS4, Switch, and PC. I'm sure.
All right.
And the next
Greg
one,
is like, I need it.
it,
Anime.
it
Well,
is gonna
no,
it
because
is doing
because
what?
there's a different anime slash manga called Whistle that is also about
Oh no, no,
soccer, football. Is that the same
no.
thing or?
No, I don't think so. I don't know
Uh,
actually the again, I don't know the this is a this
It's
anime
this.
is really old. I used to watch this as a kid because this was like one of my favorite shows growing up. And I again, I only know the actual Portuguese name because I watched it in Portuguese, but I think the name around is around like it has like two, I think it's Tsubasa something. Here in Portugal was Oliver and Benji. So yeah.
Cool.
Um, the next game is one actually just came out and one that I'm gonna get when I get money. But I did play a few hours with a friend, and that is Immortals Phoenix Rising. And this is more of an adventure game, but it's a game that can be played by literally anyone, from kids to adults. It is super fun. So basically, this is like Ubisoft was like, "Whoa, Breath of the Wild is a good game. Let's try to do that." Of course, it's not Breath of the Wild, but it is a really fun adventure. It revolves around Greek mythology, which is awesome. I love the way the story is being told. I don't know if you guys know this, but the story is basically Zeus talking to Prometheus. I'm sure. Yeah, and their interactions are so fun. They actually sometimes break the fourth wall, which is really funny. That's something I wasn't expecting. This game is really like uplifting. It's whimsical. It's nothing. It doesn't have any dark moments. Doesn't have any like serious moments. It relies more on having fun and being happy, and that's something I wasn't expecting actually. I was kind of expecting because of the art direction, but the game is pretty fun. Again, it revolves around the mechanics are very similar um, to Breath of the Wild, even as the shrines that they don't call it shrines. I don't remember the name that they give it, but it looks a lot like the Breath of the Wild shrines. But it is a pretty fun game, and it's available literally everywhere except, I guess, mobile, because Vincent really wanted to mention mobile. It's available on even Stadia, if you fancy that.
Stadia, that still exists.
Yeah, but it is a pretty fun game. I really want to get it. I'm just waiting after Christmas, and I already put that money aside. After Christmas, I'll get myself a copy of the game. But if you have someone that likes that type of game, the adventure type of game, and a game that this game can be for anyone, from kids to adults, everyone's gonna enjoy it. My next pick is actually a pick that I feel like the more mature audience will appreciate, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I know this game isn't out yet. It's weird to talk about it, but honestly, it's a game that I feel like it's like GTA 5. Even if I don't play GTA 5 and you ask me, what should I give to my 18-year-old that likes playing games? I would say GTA 5 because it's a safe pick. And I feel Cyberpunk is going the GTA route. It's going to become a really mainstream game that everyone is going to enjoy. It's going to be a phenomenon, I'm sure, as anyone is expecting.
There's gonna be
Uh,
so many mods. Like, holy
yeah,
Oh, that
crap.
game's
it's
gonna
gonna
go
be a new.
insane.
It's gonna be the new big thing. So I think it should be mentioned. It's coming out December 10th. I'm not. I think it's gonna be out. I think all consoles as well except Switch. Sorry, Switch, and mobile. Um, and it's a game where you can be whatever you want, and that's a pretty cool approach. It's not something that I'm dying to experience, but I think a lot of people are going to enjoy the game. I will probably enjoy the game as well. It's more first person shooter than third person shooter, so it has a lot of GTA vibes, but when it comes to gameplay, it's more of a first person shooter. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, the game is coming out real soon, and I think it's a safe choice if you have someone that enjoys GTA type games, open world, more accessible type games, which I think Cyberpunk is going to be more accessible than other type of games. Um, my next pick. Now I have only two. I only have two more picks, and these are actually exclusive. So I wanted to include an open world game. I know I included Cyberpunk, but I want to include an open world game that was more oriented to narrative. And I actually, believe it or not, I'm gonna recommend Ghost of Tsushima. Now, it's a game that people think I
What?
hate. It's a game that people think I hate, but I actually like the game. I really like the game. It's more of an open world looking like it's more close to Assassin's Creed than it is to GTA type of open world or Witcher type of open world. But it is a pretty fun game. It has a pretty good story mode. I think everyone I don't know anyone who didn't enjoy the story of Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's a very safe bet if you want to appeal to someone that likes both open world and story driven games. The gameplay is also very good. Is It's very good. I have my problems rely more on the narrative side when it comes to the first act, but that's my problems with the game because other than that, I think the game nails on every other aspect. But it is a pretty good game, and if you're looking for to get yourself a game that gives you both of both worlds, it's a good choice. And my last pick is for people like me who their favorite type of games are story-driven games, and I'm gonna recommend a very very famous game and game that might win Game of the Year. And if it wins, I'll fucking cry. Last of Us Part Two is my last recommendation. I know it's divisive. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people, some people don't like the game, but
I
it's a
actually,
fantastic game.
I actually think the amount
The
of people who don't
major,
like it is far smaller
they are
than
more
They're
like if
just
you look at
vocal.
like
they're
They're
just
more vocal.
louder. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
just
louder.
louder.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Golden Joystick Awards are almost all like fan
Vote. Yeah, fan
driven
voting.
voted,
Yep.
and Last of Us sweep all of like.
Yep.
I think it's much smaller than what
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
yeah. I
say,
think the
but yeah,
people that
great
don't
pick.
like the game are louder when it comes to the game.
Hmm.
Uh,
Which like it's fine if you don't like the game, but like I do think that the amount of people who like it versus the amount of people who dislike it
yeah, a lot of people
is
compare
not
it.
as 50
A
50.
lot of people compare this game to The Last Jedi, but I think Last Jedi is still more divisive than Last of Us Part 2. Because when I look at the
Mm,
conversations about Last of Us and I look at the forums, there's a lot of people still loving the game. And you can clearly see because he won Game of the Year at Golden Joystick Awards, which is
joystick.
all, sorry, Joystick Awards, which is all fan voted. There's no,
Yeah. And
right? There's no
isn't
critics voting on it.
isn't The Last
And
of Us Part 2 pretty close to winning the audience choice for the Game
it
Awards
is
as well?
almost, yeah, the two
I think it
more
is.
like picked games out of the list are Ghost and Last of Us. So Ghost right now I think has the lead for like 3%. So what I'm saying is recount the
Yeah, by
votes.
like 3 or 2%, which is
Yeah. So please recount
yeah.
it. Anyway, it's a great game. It's a story-driven game. I'm assuming a lot of people already play Last of Us because Last of Us was such a phenomenon. But for some reason, if you know someone that didn't experience this game yet, please let them experience because this is a fantastic game. It needs to be played by everyone. I think it's like, honestly, if I had to say 10 games you need to experience before you die, I'll probably put Last of Us there. I know it's a high praise, but I swear to God, I think I would put the
Mhm.
game there just for
Yeah.
the impact the game had. Whether it's good or bad, I think it's something that everyone should experience. And yeah, that's my last pick because I wanted to give a little bit of each type of game. I'm sorry I didn't mention Final Fantasy, but I'm sure another person will.
No, no.
So please, Vincent, let me know what your picks for mobile. Apparently,
I just want to say real quick, if you saw me constantly looking over or even taking a
you
recording
were
with my
buying
phone.
Captain Tsubasa.
Oh yeah, no. I have an aquarium that there's a random mystery fish that randomly appeared like a week ago that I never knew was there. And I was getting a recording of it to show my dad because he didn't know it either. So that's why I kept on looking over.
They're multiplying. That's all. That's is
Apparently.
happening
Apparently.
and mutating.
Mhm.
Okay. My games. I got my list up. Okay. First game is Dragon Quest 11S. It's on.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
No,
on
I have it. I
every.
have it. I have it on the
Oh, you
Switch.
did?
I haven't played it yet, but I have it on the Switch.
Oh.
It's on my high priority on the Switch right now. I think
Oh, okay.
I want to beat Hades, and after Hades, I think I'm either going that or I might just get Link's Awakening. But honestly, I might go Dragon Quest next because I
That's
really want to
weird.
try the game out, and I have it. I still haven't played, but I have it.
Um. Well, basically, it just came out on Xbox now, so it's
Yes.
on every system, and it's also on Game Pass, so you can get that for free if you have Game Pass. So there's that. But yeah, Dragon Quest 11. I'm really bad at describing things, even if I love them. It's
You can just list them if you want.
yeah,
You can
it's
just list
I could
them.
definitely
It's okay.
say it's turn based.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like how Matt said way earlier,
Mm.
I know not everyone likes turn based, but it's about as good of a turn based type game that you can get. Okay,
Isn't it like a pretty good
Mm.
balance between turn-based and story mode? Because
yeah,
when people talk about turn-based, to me the three games that come to mind are Dragon Quest, Persona, and Pokemon. I know it's weird, Pokemon being there, but
yeah, no,
it's
I get it.
turn-based, so it counts.
Yeah, yeah,
So like, yeah,
yeah, no, yeah, no, it's a good balance between the two, and it has a good story in general.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for my next one, I'm cheating this one a little bit, but it's I think it works. It's Final Fantasy 7 through 12 because any one of them, unless it's your first
Oh,
one,
okay, okay.
in which case you don't want to play 8 if it's your first one, just because it's really complicated compared to the rest. And no 11 because that's an MMO, which is actually still on Steam. So never mind, go play that one.
What
Um,
about 15?
uh, that's I'm gonna say that was one of my two um, PS4 mentions
Oh, okay.
is yeah Final Fantasy 15, which I love. I know not
And
everyone
if you
does, but
have PS5, I think it's on the
yes,
PS
it's on
Plus
Game Pass.
collection. No, and it's on
Not Game
the
Pass.
Plus collection. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's what I
you
meant to say.
have it for free as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it's also on Game Pass if I'm correct. So
No,
honest,
everything is on Game Pass.
yeah, I was about to say
So
honestly, half nearly every Final Fantasy game is basically on every console ever. Okay, there you go. Play one of them. You'll have a good time. So that pretty much eliminates half my list. Uh, Fire Emblem Three Houses. I've been obsessed with this one. It's on Switch. Unfortunately, like none of these games are on sale because like all the sales happened last week.
hmm
Um, so you kind of missed them, but they're still worth getting.
Mhm.
But yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses. This game is has so much in it. It has so much content. I've put in over 100 hours at this point. I literally
Jesus.
just beat it. Well, because basically there's like different routes that you can take,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
completely change the story.
yeah. I know.
I've done three of the routes now, like literally probably 2 hours before we started this whole thing. I beat the
Mm.
third route. So I still need to play the fourth route and the final route. And then after I do that, I'll have 100%ed it as far as I'm concerned. So that's going to be fun.
Wow.
Um, and that's probably going to take me up to about like 150 hours. Plus, there's like the DLC. I've beaten that too. It's not super long, but it's good for the price. It's like 5 hours took me, but apparently it takes other people like 8 to 10 hours, which is like really slow to me. But everyone goes at different paces. Um, so yeah, get that one. That is definitely it's just one of the best Switch games in general, in my opinion. Um, Next one, Mario Odyssey. Uh, I I kind of just I love this game a lot. I haven't thought about it or played about it for a little while, but I really kind of want to play it again. But I put it in here mostly just because I didn't want it to be just JRPG central. Um,
Think about this. If some anime guy is watching this, he's gonna have a field day.
he's gonna have a
Oh
good
my
time.
god. Let's go.
Um, but yeah, we already know how good Mario Odyssey is.
Mhm.
One
It's
of the
just
best games ever.
yeah, yeah. It's just if scientists figured out how to make fun into a game, that's how they did it. Um, okay, and then last game is Celeste again.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is just one of my favorite games, period. Like ever. It's challenging. It's super short, so it's good for kind of just beating it within like 2 or 3 days, depending on your skill level. Um, I managed to beat it in just one day, but it took me like six some hours. But I had nothing
yeah.
to do.
It's
Movie,
not
so yeah.
very long. It's not a very long game, but it is. It's one of those games like you pay for the experience then rather than like the length. That's
Yeah.
actually that
Mm.
reminds me of Miles. I think me and Matt had this conversation about Miles. You paid for the experience.
Yeah.
You pay to experience this story, this this game, like
This
it is
character's
worth it. Yeah,
atmosphere.
you just for the experience alone, it's worth the money. It doesn't matter if it's a great experience. It's worth it. That's what I think when people say, "Oh, it's too short."
Mhm.
No, it's not short. It's
No,
it's appropriated for what they give you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this, but like it can be pretty difficult at times.
Yeah.
But I never had to use any, but I do know some people have, and there's like a bunch of different accessibility options to make the
Yes.
game easier. So it's definitely someone that even who isn't very good at video games, they can still probably
Awesome.
get at least a fair way
It-
through.
the time it takes you to beat Celeste is depending on your skill level. That's the same
Yeah,
thing as
that too.
Hades, to be honest. If you're amazing at Hades, you're gonna beat the game in an
Mhm.
hour. But if you're trash like me or Matt or
Yeah.
anyone who played the game, it's gonna take
Yeah.
you like 20 hours to beat it.
Yeah.
I'm 10 hours deep
Wait,
and I
yeah.
haven't gone further than the second boss. So
Which side note, this is the first time that me being bad at a game has, I think, enhanced the
being
experience
rewarding,
with Hades.
being rewarded. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Uh,
I'm like 16, 17 hours into it and I still haven't beaten it. And I feel like if I had beaten the bosses in the first time, it would have not been as fun.
now you guys
But
are
anyways,
making me feel
sorry.
bad for not
Your list.
mentioning an indie. I was gonna mention one actually. I was gonna mention Pathless. I don't know if you guys know. That's the game from the creators of
Hello?
Journey and Abzu. And Pathless is actually a very cool game. That's
It's okay,
basically-
you're just a corporate shill. That's
God.
fine.
it's a lot like Channel of the Colossus, but I didn't mention
Mhm.
because the game is still. I still think it's a little bit expensive for what you get out of it. I think it's $40 for a six. That to me is not worth it because the game isn't that good and it's not worth it for the 40 hour. It's a 6 hour experience and $40 for a 6 hour experience. It's not worth it. Like hey, Celeste, sure it's 6 hours, but it's $20. Actually less right now. I think it's.
I
like
would say
15
honestly, 90% of the time it's on sale. So like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a while ago Celeste was $5. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah,
and
it was.
and Hades is around like 20 hours, but it's also like $20. This game is kind of full price. It's like almost full price, and it's 6 hours. And I don't think the experience you get out of it is worth the $40. But that's why I wasn't gonna mention it. But since we're throwing out indies, that's a cool indie if you want to try it out. It's a cool game, and I
Yeah.
think it's good. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's our
that was my
recommendations. A lot of games for you to buy. A lot of sadly no games for mobile. I'm sorry.
Genshin Impact. I hear it's good.
Yeah,
There.
it's on mobile. Isn't it free though?
Is
Get
it?
Among Us. Get someone Among Us, please.
Oh yeah, Among Us. That's good.
Yeah, Among Us. There we go.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us on this semi. We're gonna call it half episode of Just Gaming podcast.
Yeah,
we just
sure.
wanted to give you
Why not?
our picks for this holiday season. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you can.